What's good, everybody? It's your boy Anonymous, the author, aka Anonymous Rap Guy, and I am back with another Ohio BBW Podcast Network interview. Today we have the awesome, the fantastic, the cool, the laid back, the writer apparently, and super energetic lazy Miss Rosie Jean. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I am doing fantastic. I'm glad to be here. How you doing?
I can't complain. A little toasty, but we'll talk about that later.
Best way to be.
So I figured today we will just give the fans what they've been asking for. Just give a quick little rundown of who you are. Quick little rundown of who you are, what you've been into, and let everybody get to know you.
Absolutely.
Little
Excited
glitch.
to be here.
Sorry, guys, little glitch. I'm gonna run that back for just a second. I lost audio for just a moment. Can you say something real quick for me?
1, 2, 3,
There we
4.
go. Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna run it back to the top. So I figured today we're just gonna give our fans a little rundown on who you are, what you're into, and answer some Q&A questions since you got so very many of them. How's that sound?
I am so into it. Let's go.
All right, cool. So I guess first things first, since I'm clearly stalking your profile at this point, I noticed that it says a couple things in the header of your profile that I want to touch on. It says aspiring author. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, truth be told, I've been on a bit of a writing hiatus, but 2021, I dedicated a lot of my energy in the beginning of the year to kind of really digging deep into my trauma, my life, because my goal is to write a autobiographical poetic narrative about the experiences I've lived through.
Wow.
Because mental health is like such a passion for me.
100%.
With the amount of things I've experienced in my life, I just genuinely believe some people on this earth are born and handed a stack of things that just create a very unique, albeit painful experience that you have to kind of continually grow and learn from.
Absolutely.
And so, like, I'm very open about this. Like, I'm diagnosed with CPTSD and ADHD and have been since I was diagnosed at 23, but I've had it since I was probably about 6. So for me, that experience in and of itself and learning about neurodivergency and the psychology behind how all those things interlink with each other has been a really important process in self-discovery, but also in just understanding those topics as a whole. And that's a theme that I want to carry very heavily in my book while I tell some of the stories that I've lived through, because my life, I'm many things, but I'm not boring.
No, that's right. No, that's right. So when you say write your book, is going to be autobiographical, I'm assuming?
Yeah. So it's my goal is to create a narrative more so through poetry than just like short storytelling versions or like essay versions. My goal would be to maybe have a few of those to help interlink some of the poetry, but I really like poetry.
Right, of course.
For me, that's my ultimate goal. And right now I'm more so in the beginning phases, but last year I fractured my metatarsal and went through a really intense breakup with someone I had been with for like almost 8 years.
Oh my goodness.
Its own thing.
Yeah.
So I relocated and now I'm in Florida, and I've been, I think a lot of my friends and people that have followed me for a long time have seen a major shift in me since I arrived here in October.
Major shift like how? How would you think they would characterize your shift?
Ooh, well, I want to figure out how I want to say this, but I don't necessarily want to disparage people too much, but basically I feel like there were multiple things holding me back in my life. A lot of it was self-induced, a lot of it was external, but in that front, being completely separate from a situation that wasn't good for anyone made me start to really be able to fully heal. And I have to really say my parents have given me an opportunity that many people don't get to have. And I've had an opportunity to truly heal because from like 2019 until about October 2021, I experienced some of the biggest traumas that I've experienced in adulthood.
Oh, wow.
And so because of those experiences and those things that I do want to talk about and explore in my book, which I guess I should probably say it now, especially depending on what questions we or get asked or whatever. Some of the things I've been through probably deserve like a little trigger warning. So
I gotcha.
I'm gonna just say that
right,
now,
right.
because I believe, like I said, with mental health and all of that, I just think it's I post my titties out on the internet, like, you know, I post those straps, you know,
right.
I do all that, and especially more lately, my Instagram vibe has been a lot more like carefree and lighthearted. But if you go back, actually, on my Instagram, there's this thing. I don't know if a lot of people are fully aware of it. I have tons of Instagram highlight reels, and they're labeled Nort, which is the short version of like my book workshop title. Like, it's not going to be my book title,
right?
But it's my goal when I started my book was I started documenting my life in like a vlog type style. But I did it through Instagram highlights. And when I started, I was having maybe like anywhere between 30 to 40 to max 100 viewers. And now it's like minimum like 200 upwards to, at my height, like, you know, over 1,000, which for me was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy.
Right.
You know, like to me, I'm just this regular ass person. And all of a sudden, you know, since I moved to Florida and I started like working on myself, and I started really healing and not feeling as suppressed as I previously did.
And people picked up on that energy.
Like you what?
I said people really pick up on that energy if you're feeling positive and more energetic.
Absolutely, that process like really I opened the floodgates for me in a way. Like, you know, when I gained like almost 10,000 followers in like 4 months or something. Like, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's just been such an exciting process. Like, where my friends and people who used to follow me back when I was like a Pizza Sister for Life admin back in the body positive space in like 2013 till now, have seen all this shit I've been through.
Wait. You were what? Break that down.
So, Pizza Sisters for Life was a community on Instagram. I don't know if you're familiar with the hashtag at all.
No, not at all.
It was never as big as like F Your Beauty Standards or like I think like Golden Confidence was another one. But it was like a subsector of body positivity.
Okay.
And I was one of the original admins. The page is no longer active.
Okay.
But back in the day, the body positive space on Instagram was such a different place than it is now. I gotta be honest, and maybe this might come off a little jaded because I'm like, I consider myself like an SSBBW, like a much bigger girl, right? But like some of them like mid-sized, smaller fat people have really co-opted what body positivity once was,
right? And
so that's sad, and it's been sad for years. This has been happening for a long time, but like for me, I feel like the golden years, like the thing that made me fall in love with my body, the thing that really made me like learn about social issues and really form who I am today was ironically making the decision to download Instagram.
No joke.
I knew what the term BBW was, so I went to that hashtag, and then that dumped me into this entire community I didn't know existed. And from there, I found friends that I am friends with to this day.
Awesome.
And this community that really, you know, I'm an ex-Mormon, and so I posted the first time I ever wore a tank top on my first ever Instagram. You know, and so there was like, that was, you know, recovering from religious trauma, that was recovering from all the, you know, body shaming and the and just the general self-hatred that I had for myself. And I was able to watch myself go through all that and grow out of it. So, you know, that's what made me having to delete my Instagram in 2015. Like, that's what made that so heartbreaking, because this isn't my first account. I had to delete my Instagram right after I hit 10K in 2015.
Why was that?
Because, so essentially, it wasn't because of r/fat people hate on Reddit. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all or not.
Not at all. No, educate me.
That was kind of the catalyst. The short of it was my now ex was in a custody battle, and I was being targeted very heavily for about a year to 2 years on several different forums, websites, but it all started on the Reddit r/fat people hate. If you look up at it now, that subreddit was abolished in 2016 by the CEO of Reddit because it got so out of control.
Right. I mean, it's called /hate fab. I'm sure that it wasn't a positive group. So
no, it was actually hell on earth. I was almost doxxed. At the time when I was making YouTube videos, they were bombarding my videos. I was told daily to go die, called a ham plant, whatever it was, whatever the hell they were throwing out that week, Michelin Man, whatever unoriginal,
right, whatever stupid thought they could come up with, right?
Dumb thought, that they can think of, right? So it was a lot of that, but the issue was, at the time I had a stalker that up until literally last year was a problem, and I got rid of him. But what I figured out was he was kind of the head of all of it, because there was a period of time where he was intimately involved in my life and knew a lot of details, and had at one point met me in person. And it took a while to figure out that this person was in these hate forums, feeding information. And he had saved nudes of me and other things of me, and had exploited those and put that all on out on those forums. He listed my family. It was truly a really traumatic experience.
Yeah, that's dark.
Yeah, it is, right? And so when all that happened, basically one of my ex's exes found it, because they had tried to dox my ex, and not my ex at the time. Because the fun little thing is we were long distance, so they assumed he wasn't real when he in fact very much was. And so they put his email and all this stuff. And so when she Googled his email, all these things about me, she forwarded it all to his family. And it was either delete your Instagram and get off the internet, or we have to break up because this could be brought up in court as a safety issue.
Dang.
So I chose my boyfriend at the time.
Right. Jeez.
So eventually, obviously, I came back, and it took me about 5-6 years to be able to get back on the internet in a public way, and it not be a trigger for my PTSD.
Right.
And I've finally gotten back to a space where after that experience, plus all the childhood bullying, at this point, anyone can say literally anything to me, and I'm just okay, Ann.
Right.
Unless you're trying to literally come kill me with a knife, I'm fine.
Right. I feel you. Bounces off at this point. Yeah, you were invulnerable. Jeez, after everything you've been through, my goodness. So I have a question for you. So it sounds like social media has played both a positive and huge, massively negative in your life. Between the two, which one would you say you are pro social media, or pro social media?
Yeah, I think overall the positive experiences have laid a foundation for me in a way that I just don't know would have been possible. I would not have had the sense of community that I've been able to cultivate through the body positive feminist spaces online. I believe that, I wouldn't have such an open understanding of very nuanced topics like gender and racial issues that are so prevalent and important. And because I was raised in a rural Georgia suburb, and it wasn't until I was in my early 20s and I got exposed to these intersectional spaces online that thankfully I was never racist or closed-minded in that way, but I was not educated because I didn't have access to information, and I didn't know to think outside of my own lived experience, and the internet taught me that.
Dope. That's really cool. So when you said, now I'm backtracking through things that you've said. So to go back, you said originally back in the day when you closed down the account, what year did you have to shut down the account?
I believe that was in January 2015.
2015.
I think it was super early in 2015.
When did you reopen? When did you start the new account?
So I forgot the reason. I think it was just I was in a really dark, deep depression after I deleted my Instagram for 6 months because it felt like they had won.
Right.
I knew the real reason why. I knew I was doing it for a little child that I still love, that even though we're not together, is still my stepchild. A child that is one of the best people I've ever met. And even though, they live 1,000 miles away now, I still do my best to try to maintain a relationship with them. It's not like I want it to be, it's awkward. I'm thankful that because my ex could very easily just say, fuck you, you know, you're not going to talk to them anymore. You're not involved in this. You're not a parent, you know, but they know that's not what's in the best interest of their child. And to his credit, he's always tried really hard to keep his life like that in terms of his child. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and so for that reason, you know, that's something that when I was living with them, me and Rye, you would be like this little side voice. Because of what happened on Fat Heat, because of what I went through, I've never shown their face on my social media.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
To protect them. Yeah. So, and also my space isn't exactly for kids.
Right. I got you.
So, you know, in that regard, that's something that I take very seriously with that. But oh shoot, what was your question? I talked myself into a circle.
The overall question was the social media, and then you started going into the family and everything. And I mean, we were talking about when you reopened your account in 6 months after it closed.
I reopened it, basically I broke up with him, or I was going to break up with him, and instead of actually, so in my realization that breaking up with him meant I could make an Instagram, I made an Instagram, and my dumbass accidentally followed his account when I was going through my burner account. Like I hit follow. I didn't mean to, because he was like working, I think, and I was going to talk to him in like literally a couple hours.
Right.
But I wasn't doing anything at the time. So in my trying to like not be sad about breaking up with him, because I didn't necessarily want to. I genuinely don't even remember the catalyst of that breakup. We were broken up for only a couple days and got back together.
Right.
But and we figured it out basically. And made it to where it wasn't an issue. But I was like, I can't keep hiding. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
So that's when I made this current account. It was a different name at the time. I think it was like Phoenix Rose with 2 E's. So it wasn't that different. But I made this account so whatever that first post is, it's down at the way bottom.
Right, it's at the original.
But
let me look while you're talking.
Like, the first like 6 posts or so was like, you know, my baby had my baby, his name's Rocky, like my cat that I had since I was like 6. He had like passed away during that period of time where I wasn't really on the internet and all that stuff. So I was like posting updates like that and all that. So, you know, for me, it was just a moment of like trying to reclaim it. And then that's when I realized that I wasn't emotionally ready. And I would kept like for years, I'm like, I'm going to be more active. I'm going to come back. I'm going to keep posting. And then I would do 1 or 2 and then I would hide again. And I kept fighting that cycle until ironically, until I finally fully got cut off from my ex and moved away and spent some time here. Like I started to say earlier, my parents really gave me an opportunity to come here. And like the first 3 months I lived here, I honestly probably didn't get out of bed much. I literally rested, because I don't want to spend this whole time talking about the trauma and what I've been through and all of that. A lot of that's available on my Instagram highlights. A lot of that is going to be touched on in my book. A lot of that it's very dark and very heavy, but I mean, you know, surviving sexual assault as an adult for the second time, when the first time was when I was so young, you know, going through and experiencing being put in a place where you realize just how horrific the mental health care is for the disenfranchised of our country is just fucking disgusting.
100%.
And heartbreaking, and witnessing it with your own eyes, because I was put in a situation where I arrived at the hospital and they gave me medication, some kind of like, I don't even know what they gave me, to be honest with you, but something that put me basically to sleep, and they had me sign paperwork that I didn't understand.
Right.
Telling me it was for insurance when it wasn't. And so this whole situation occurred where I was basically held effectively against my will, and I had to figure out how to get out of it. Jeez. And it was more traumatic than the assault, to be honest with you. So
it's the American healthcare system. That's the American healthcare system for you. Yeah. And
just in the fact, like, and I was sent to a city an hour away. That was a very, you know, a very poor part of town, and the demographic there was just like it was a lot. I shouldn't have been sent there for what happened to me. I needed therapy, and they ended up sending me to a glorified prison. When I asked for therapy, I was told, and I quote, "We don't do that here."
No joke.
yeah, it was truly a horrific experience. But the thing about me now is I've gotten to a place in my life where that's my past, and that's stuff I'm still processing. In fact, I'm about to get back into EMDR with all that, and so I'm really excited.
What is that?
It's like, I think it's like eye desensitization, something. So, I don't remember. If you Google it, it'll tell you the exact acronym. But basically, it's one of the most revered therapies for traumatized individuals. It kind of helps break down the memory links and helps get to the source and root of the trauma and the emotions within you. Because I truly believe if I hadn't gone through EMDR in 2017 and 2018, I wouldn't have survived 2020.
You said AMDR?
EMDR.
EMDR?
Yeah.
EMDR therapy?
Yes. Thank you. I can never remember the acronym, but
eye movement desensitization and reprocessing is a form of psychotherapy in which the person being treated recalls distressing experiences whilst doing bilateral stimulation, such as side-to-side eye movement or tapping either side of the body. Dang. Yep.
If you get a trauma specialist therapist, it's that therapy saved my life.
No joke. How was it helpful?
Well, so basically with the eye movements in conjunction with recalling therapy and having someone to keep you grounded, they also set up like a safe space for you, you know, like for me, essentially, I like created this vision of a field. I'm not going to go into specifics because it's a personal thing.
Right. I understand.
Like this sunny field with these certain smells and certain visuals that like, are basically designed to like help make you feel safe and grounded and come down from delving into the depths and darkness and despair of the worst moments and trauma for people who have experienced some of the most horrific things, like childhood essay is probably one of the worst things a human can experience. And that's the foundation of my life. So because of that, you know, and because of that therapy, I was able to unpack that along with many of the other things that I had to experience. Yeah.
Wow, that's deep, dude. Are you currently still going through are you currently only doing EMDR therapy, or are you doing like a host of other?
I actually haven't started it yet. I'm in there's a build up process. Okay. She's setting up the building blocks. I'm speaking with, she's a new person because like I said, I just relocated here. Right. It took me a minute to get in with her.
So you just how long have you been in Florida?
Since October, but it took me a while to get in the door with her, and also I wasn't emotionally ready when I moved here. Right. I am now. Right. I'm in a much better place. You need to be at a certain level of stable before you can ever explore EMDR. The EMDR is not something you do when you're like in distress and need like talk therapy or you know, some other type of deconstruction, because that's digging in your past. If you have current urgent problems, there are different therapies for that, like DBT, for example.
What's that? Break it down for us.
Something behavioral therapy. Asking me questions I didn't do my homework on.
I'm about to say, yeah, that's why I feel. Keep talking. I'm Googling right now.
No, you're good. So yeah, that's basically.
Did you say DMT therapy?
D as in David, B.
DBT. Okay, because DMT therapy. They're talking about drugs and Joe Rogan. I was like, what?
Joe Rogan.
Dialectical behavioral therapy is an evidence-based psychotherapy that began with efforts to treat personality disorders and interpersonal conflicts. Yep. Cool.
I don't believe I have a personality disorder. However, it's a really great trauma-based therapy as well.
I believe that. Dude, this is deep, dude. So I'm like, I'm sorry.
I don't know how to not be deep. I've tried to tap the thing didn't work for me.
I got you. Ditzy isn't in your vocabulary, huh?
Boring.
So sorry, dude. I've been talking your head off. Let's get to
Oh no. Oh yeah, we've got questions.
We got it.
But yeah, that's just like, because I think in my bio, like I talk about mental health and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
that touches those topics for sure. But that's the stuff that I think makes the meat of my book.
Yeah, dude, that's definitely. Do you have any kind of like, hey, I'm going to be releasing chapters or previews anytime in the near future?
No.
Okay.
I am completely doing this. Like, uneducated. But if any of you guys are authors, no publishers, editors, anybody, hit me up. I need help. I need resources, videos to watch, ways to learn how to do that.
Right.
Throwing that out into the universe.
Definitely.
This is my life's dream. My dream is to publish a book. Even if I just self-publish on Amazon, I don't care. My goal, the thing that I want the most from this lifetime for me is to complete this book. Whether it's in 10 years, 5 years, next year, I don't really care.
Definitely. I got some resources for you, so I'll definitely share some stuff with you. Yeah, I mean, it's not huge, but yeah, we'll talk about it after the interview.
Of course, absolutely.
And I'll take care of you.
Okay.
So let us get to the questions. And before we get to the questions, I just want to say thank you for coming on and sharing some of what you've gone through and some of what you're getting into and the process of growth, man. I mean, that's definitely dope. I didn't realize you were saying it was only since October. We were talking about 2015 and 2016. I was thinking you'd been there for years. I didn't know that you had just moved.
My breakup was in June of last year, like when we finally cut ties.
No
we broke
joke.
up for like 9 months in 2019. Listen, we don't got time to get into my breakup story, but basically, it was just, it's been a lot. It's been a lot of craziness. Timelines are wild. That's why I want to write a book about
it. Definitely. I'm saying from all the followers you get, they're going to love that story, dude. So yeah, we definitely want to hear it.
I hope so.
All right. So now getting into some of the questions that were posted, I'm going to read their name and then the question. Up first. So I will try to do my best to make these questions make sense because not everything is written, I'll say, in proper English. And if you don't know the answer, then we can just skip it. Or if it's too vague, we can skip it. So Apple Pie has the question of, how do you feel the same as other BBW if you do? And how do you feel differently if you do?
So basically, how do I feel in comparison to BBWs, whether different or in comparison with, right?
Take it however you want to take it. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the term BBW, SSBBW, I use them. I'm not offended by them, but I am not just a porn category, you know?
Absolutely.
And so for me, I believe that the struggles and plights of the modern woman and, in that hit those weight categories is a very nuanced topic. And I think that we all share the same experience of having to consistently confront and overcome the stigmas within the Americanized beauty standards. I really think that that's something that we all have in common.
Absolutely.
That whether you choose to be ignorant to it or not, whether you choose to participate in those narratives, that's your choice. But we all, whether we admit to it or not, experience it, or whether we put the effort into acknowledging it or not. Because we all will walk out of a room and have people comment that's behind our back. We all will walk in, especially if you're someone of my size, we'll all walk into a room and we'll go into a restaurant and have to instantly survey what's the seating like, who's here. Are there any large groups of teenage boys? Because
they're jerks. Yeah. From the age of about 12 to 17. Yeah, that's the biggest jerk. The range. Yeah.
No, I was walking because I have a very intense Pokemon Go habit. I walked to a church that has a courtyard and all this stuff that's not far from where I live. And there was some teenage boys biking around, and I'm literally walking and playing Pokemon, and they bike by me, and I couldn't even hear what they said. But I was recording myself on Instagram stories, and you could hear them yelling something at me, and I think I picked up a word that they were clearly
just being stupid. They were just being stupid. Yeah, they're just being stupid.
I'm quite literally doing a physical activity right now.
Right.
Anyway, shit, man. Can't fucking win anything.
Right.
So, in that regard, I don't really know in what ways I would differ, but beyond the fact that we all have our own unique experiences in lives, and we're not really, I think sometimes I struggle with the balance of like not wanting to define myself too much by my weight, but feeling pride in the fact that I love myself as much as I do.
Right.
Because I worked hard, fucking hard to get to that point.
I know that's
Even
right.
in the depths and darkness of depression and trauma, the fact that that foundation exists is something that a lot of people don't have.
Right.
And I worked really, really hard to get mine. And so for that, like, I'm constantly thankful.
100%, dude. Having a strong mental health is absolutely, because like you say, even if you
never said my mental health is strong.
Right. No. I got you. No, but being able to see yourself in a positive light, that's like 90% of the battle, especially climbing over that mountain, climbing over that hill. Even people who are, you know, on any side of the weight spectrum, whether it's underweight, you know, midweight, overweight, if you don't love yourself, it won't matter what side of, you know, what part of the spectrum you're on. So the fact that you love yourself is a huge so
it's so crazy. I just want to interject for a second because it's so crazy. There's this girl we went to high school with, like we spent freshman year together and we reconnected in adulthood. When I knew her, and for a lot of her adult, you know, years, she was like 90 pounds soaking wet. She was so tiny. And when we reconnected and stuff, I've watched her come into her body and learn how to love herself. And there were points where she was talking about how excited she was to gain weight and all these things because she started to put on a little bit more weight and something that she really struggled with. And she's talked about, you know, her struggles with that, but she's also sat back and listened to me, listened to my experiences, and understands that fat phobia is not equivalent to skinny shaming. And she understands that, but she also talks about her frustration because at the end of the day, while I do believe that there's a lot of systematic issues in regards to how fat people are treated that are not equivalent to that, it's important that we just stop fucking shaming women.
Right.
Like skinny or fat. And that's something I believe strongly in. And I've lost friends who are in the fat spaces because they don't want to take a moment to acknowledge that because of their own hurt and their own bias and their own pain. And trust me, I get it. That was me when I was like 22,
right?
You know, but as years have gone on, I've gotten older and I've just turned 30 and all of that. I feel like my friendship with her taught me a lot, and having the ability to watch her also respect me and respect my experiences and see and understand how they're categorically different has really allowed me to view that within a different balance, I suppose.
Wow, that's dope, dude. So you say you guys still keep in contact as of today? Are you guys?
Yeah, she DM'd me like today.
Okay.
She's awesome. Yeah.
So do you
great girl.
Do you guys?
Shout out to Courtney.
Shout out to you, Courtney. I'm gonna bounce to the next question really quickly. Oh, this is hilarious. Well, not hilarious, but it's right in the tune of what we were talking about. So this is from Jovis.
Oh, Jovi?
Jovi, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, shouts out to Jovi. I was going to try to do the whole name, but hey, Jovi. So Jovi said, what do you do when you're not feeling your best to help boost your mood?
I love things that, look, well, the first thing that came to my head is like things that smell good. Like vanilla sprays, incense.
So you'd have like a sensory. You like to have like a sensory.
I was going to say yes, like changing the sensory input to like positive things. Like depending on what's causing the mental issues, like, or having those moments, sometimes like cooking or doing something with food helps. Sometimes it makes it worse because I've had a very long, drawn out, difficult battle with an eating disorder for many years, the majority of my life. And in recent years it had actually flipped from more exclusively, like I've been diagnosed with binge eating disorder, but it's flipped more. So when I went through some scarcity stuff, like running into anorexia, and so when I was like 500 pounds in anorexic, like no one gave a fuck, even though I was like literally passed out at work and like all these things happened to me. When you're fat and you're dealing with anorexia, people celebrate it. It's one of the most fucked up mental games I've ever experienced. And so for me, you know, thinking about that question and stuff, it's just like anything that I can do. Like I've got a list. Like, I mean, sometimes it's as simple as I need to turn my brain off and I'm gonna just disassociate and watch TikTok for an hour, or watch a comfort TV show like How I Met Your Mother, or do my makeup, or watercolor paint, or call a friend and just bitch, you know, whatever. I just try to listen to my spirit and try to like connect with what's making me feel wrong, to see if there's something I can do to right it. And if I can't right it, if I can't change it, then the best thing that I can do is just take a beat. And even if you need to just ignore it for a minute, you can always revisit it.
Right.
And because sometimes distraction is a really, really pivotal, important coping skill.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be abused. So that's something that I've had to like kind of work with on that.
I got you, dude. That's dope. That's really dope. Shouts out to you then. Yeah, I've definitely since I've tried the whole like working from home thing, being able to compartmentalize and being able to like, okay, I just need a minute away from this before I come back to it. It's definitely huge. I definitely agree 100% with that. The next question, I'm going to skip over that one. Dude, some of these questions are right in line with what we're talking about. A question from Milla Mystic. There we go. Milla Mystic. There we go. Milla Mystic says, how do you find courage to start posting actively on social media?
Ooh, that kind of touches to what I was talking about earlier. It took a lot of time and healing for me, because that relates back to the trauma. Because at the end of the day, like I wasn't just posting on Reddit. I'm like scared to say some of these websites. I don't want to resurrect these forums. I don't.
Right.
But there's just like a lot of these like scuzzy, like hole in the wall forums.
Yeah.
Places like, I'm not even gonna say the names, honestly.
Yeah, don't give them a shout out. Don't give them any promotion.
These really, these forums dedicated to basically being ableist, shitty incels, and racist, xenophobic, incel behaviors. Just like, you know, I had people just talking about how excited they were for me to die.
Jeez.
And I swear my life, my crime back then was being opinionated, being a woman, being fat, and being public on the internet. Wow. Yeah, you know what? I'm sure I could have been bratty sometimes. I'm sure I was wrong in certain like minor social situations. I'm sure that I was possibly cringy or annoying. Absolutely.
Right.
None of that warranted what the fuck happened.
No, seriously.
And so for that experience to happen and leave the internet, what initially got me the courage when I was like in my early 20s was actually before what's the word? Instagram. I posted on like more fat positive subreddits, ironically. And so like ones with the terms like BBW and other things.
Right. I know what you mean. And
so that was one of the first times that I was ever hyped up on my appearance ever.
Oh, that was an awesome feeling for you.
Yeah, it was a little addicting, you know. So for me, it was like okay, because like I mean, I quite literally. The first time I ever learned what BBW was, I had just turned 18 and gotten access to the chat rooms on Yahoo Messenger, and I was going through.
Shout out Yahoo Messenger.
Yeah. I'm gonna date myself a second.
Yes.
This was like in 2010 though, okay. So I was just like late to the game.
I got you.
Now, so I was like going through all these things, and all of them made sense. I was like, you know, I know interracial meet, like that makes sense. Like what oldies, okay, old people got it, but then there was BBW, and I'm like sitting there like a fat brand new 18-year-old, and I'm like, what's this? I click on it, and I sit back and I'm like reading, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. So I literally was like, what does BBW mean? Because like, I genuinely didn't know.
Right.
And they were like, they said big beautiful woman, and so my response, and this is a little sad. My response was, wait, people actually like fat people? Really sad. I acknowledge that. And so they thought I was trolling, right? So they started, and I started panicking. I was like, no, wait, you don't understand. I'm 18 and I'm fat. So then my DMs blew up.
Right, yeah, of course. Of course. Right. That was the horrible thing for you to say. Yeah, I'm sure you got flooded.
Yeah. Fun fact, that's how I lost their virginity.
Like I say, shout out Yahoo Messenger.
So yeah, that's its own fucking story. I'm not getting into it because my parents might watch this, and no. But anyway,
Oh man.
yeah.
Hashtag Yahoo Messenger. That's gonna be
Right?
description of
Oh
this
my god.
episode.
Crazy. I was such a goody two shoes kid. Like that
Mm.
was honestly, ironically, that's the catalyst of like how I ended up leaving Mormonism. I was already questioning for a couple of years, but that was ironically that Yahoo message board was like
That was the catalyst that kicked it
led
all
to
off.
a shift and led to the last time I ever went to church, and where I was like, this is not for me. This is not who I am.
I'm clearly oblivious and ignorant. I thought Mormons were like, I thought it was like based in Utah, but you said you were based in Georgia.
So the reason why there's that stereotype is, first of all, I swear to God, I think like Utah is 90% Mormons, like, and I'm not exaggerating.
Right.
But like basically back in like I guess the pioneer days, essentially, like all the Mormons like trailed up to Utah and settled there, essentially. And like they built like Brigham University and all that. So yeah, I mean they're global. I mean there's there's Mormon churches in almost every country.
I was just gonna ask that. So you guys had a Mormon church, or were you guys worshiping at home? Wow.
There was tons of Mormon churches. There's tons of Mormon churches. Like if you just go on Google, wherever you live, I'm sure there's this is prevalent as like Christian, because it's a branch of Christianity, but they're just prevalent as like Baptist or Catholic churches.
Right.
In the United States, they're everywhere.
I'm gonna have to look up because now I am curious.
I mean, I don't personally recommend it, but like I still have family that are Mormon and people that I care about that are Mormon, and I respect them. But
that's dope.
I have my own personal beliefs on why I don't agree with it.
No, I feel you.
You know, I'm a bisexual, queer woman, and I did not fully come to terms with that until I was 27, even though I left church when I was 18.
Right.
So I really struggled with that, and it was kind of ironic. I quite literally had a very cliche conversation in high school where I was on the wrong side of history, and I was spouting off everything I'd been spoon-fed my whole life, and I was talking to this guy, and I was talking about Bible, this, that, whatever. And so this guy, he's getting increasingly frustrated with me because I'm wrong and I'm being stupid. And he eventually just goes, you know what I don't get is I don't understand why two people can't love each other. And I remember, I'll never forget the feeling of when I froze and I looked at him, and this quiet little voice, like this quiet little thought in my head of, I don't know either. And that was the moment that the glass shattered. That was the moment that I realized that everything I believed, everything I knew was everything that I had just been taught to puppet. And as I started to question things, as I tried to teach myself, as I tried to be more inquisitive and question my beliefs, I only got pushback. I only got pray about it. I only got read the Book of Mormon. I only got, it's God's way, whatever the hell they said.
Right.
And then
no satisfying answers.
The glass shattered. That's the only way I can explain it. And then I was never the same after that.
Yeah. That's usually the point. Whenever someone has a question that they feel like they're not actually getting answered, that they're getting the workaround, that's usually like you say, the catalyst for stepping away from something. So let me see here. Sorry, let me get out of here. All right, so now we got rapid fire questions.
Okay, let's go.
We're definitely not asking that question. So what is some of these are cut off, so unfortunately, guys, I can't say your name. What is the greatest obstacle you've had to overcome? Well, let me change the question. Would you say that the greatest obstacle would be a mental obstacle or a physical obstacle that you've had to overcome? Mental. Do you think in 2015, if you were in a healthier headspace, that you would have ended up here where you currently are now? Or do you think you would be in a different position? Like back in 2015, if you didn't have to deal with, a stalker basically trying to kill you and putting out your information and sabotaging basically your entire life.
I just want to be clear. I don't think he ever tried to actually kill me.
Right.
Maybe he had this weird, he's a self-proclaimed sociopath, and he had this weird fascination with inducing TBIs in traumatized women because he thought it was scientifically possible. Whether it is or not, I'm not sure, but that's what he thought. And he had essentially what I think was more or less a wet dream of doing that to his ex, and that was put onto me when I finally got the courage to block him last year. When he hacked my Cash App and cloned my phone number and all that. That was fun.
Jeez, people are psychotic. Yeah,
I told you, my life is crazy. I'm many things. I'm not bored.
I'm about to say, you could do the autobiography. You could do like 4 or 5 movies off that, man. Jeez, that is.
That's so funny you said that. I've literally said I've lived like 3 or 4 Lifetime movies.
Absolutely.
I haven't even mentioned the ex-boyfriend that literally tried to kill himself in front of me. So.
Oh my goodness! We're definitely.
By the way, that's something that like traumatized people do is you say really fucked up things and then just laugh because it's a joke. It's fine.
Right. No, but, I'm in the dark humor, so I'm definitely
right.
I laugh at anything anyway.
A little more mindful because that's why I mentioned the trigger warning in the beginning because it's just like, listen, I'm a walking trigger warning, to be honest.
I hope people who watch this realize that I say crazy things all the time. So if you're watching this right now and you think that this is going to be all roses and daisies, just stop watching now. Just please shut it off.
Yeah. So back to what you were saying about like with 2015 and stuff. Like that stuff was impactful, but in the tiers of trauma, that's seriously like lower, like 5, 6.
Really?
So because I haven't even mentioned the really shitty things because.
What?
I'm in a good mood.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so I don't want to go there.
Let's
kind of touched on them in the beginning when this was a little heavier, but
right. Oh my goodness.
Me, but you know, with surviving multiple types of sexual assault and things like watching someone like try to trigger warning, slit their own throat, things like that, and physically being the person to stop them, stuff like that.
Right.
Internet bullies can suck a dick.
Right. Right. That's nothing at this point. Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, like, oh, you're big and bad behind your keyboard. Oh, you're so big, like,
right.
You.
Right.
Please.
People online are hilarious.
The scariest was I had someone like in the inside of my life.
Right. In real life. Right.
On video chat before I realized he was who he was.
Exactly. So. Yeah, that's scary. Like, it's one thing to have to deal with trolls online, but to have somebody in your actual life that's feeding the trolls online, yeah, that's scary.
Because that's the thing is, whenever this was going on, there were other girls, some of which I was friends with, some of which I wasn't. One girl, we actually had a feud that the trolls were feeding. That was not fun.
Jeez.
But this, these other girls, like I was friends with and all of that, they were experiencing the same thing I was, but even they were, and other people were like, there's something different about what's going on with you. Like the level that this is going on is so personal and so bizarre. No one understood why, and eventually I figured it out. Right.
You got to the bottom of it. Damn.
Yeah. And then I did some like crazy shit last year. I tried to get the police involved, and it ended up boiling down to, and I haven't had the chance to yet. I actually have family in Indianapolis, but if I essentially did something that I call reverse doxing. I went into one of his 100+ fake Facebook profiles that I knew was him. And I said, I know this is you. I gave him all the information I got on the background check my friend ran on him. Because one of my internet friends, somehow her mom dated his half-brother at one point before he died. The half-brother died.
Whoa.
And this was a crazy connection that I put together from one random conversation I had with him in like 2014 and a conversation I had with her. And then, so she actually paid for the background check and all of that. And we confirmed it. We confirmed that these two people were related. And basically like the person that the half brother did some really fucked up stuff. And it's not my business to share, but basically because of all that, I basically said, if you don't leave me alone, and if you don't back the fuck off, I will ruin your life.
Dang.
I have your address. I confirmed that this is where you still live on Snapchat. I logged into my Snapchat that I hadn't used in years and looked at his location because he was still on it.
Right.
I got the addresses off the background check from my friend and was like, I have all this information. I'm not going to publish it because I'm not a monster.
Right.
But I will use this to hurt you if you don't stop trying to hurt me.
Absolutely.
Haven't heard from him since.
Dang. Go ahead then, girl.
He hasn't sent spam bots on my profile. He stopped. I had to change my phone number because I was getting like the the Trump sign up text messages.
Right.
And one time, the reason he cloned my phone number is I was ignoring the daily spam text with all the links that he was sending. And one day my finger slipped and I accidentally clicked on the link. So I was able to gain access to my phone.
Dang.
So yeah.
Dude, that's deep.
I watched him use the dark web. Like he forced me to view it. He tried to, thankfully I'm smarter than this. He tried to get me to use it. And so I never did.
Right.
But he's obviously trying to get blackmail on me. So I mean, that's a monster.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Unfortunately, he was a catalyst in my ultimate breakup too.
He sounds like that's the origin story of like a supervillain. Like he's definitely like 2 weeks away from.
I mean, he's too lazy and old to really, I think, be too damaging outside of his normal rut of bullshit. Good. At least, if he was like, sees this, I'm just gonna say fuck you and never talk to me again. And if this incites rage in you, boo hoo.
He's just at home shaking his fist. Oh my god, dude! Like you say, your story is one for the ages.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I think a lot of people sometimes are like, is it really that bad? I have so many witnesses to this shit because it was crazy. Before I fractured my foot, I was on to something going on. I was on to him. I had just made the choice to block him, and I soft blocked him. I kept him on Instagram, and that's when I was watching how, because you can see who views your story.
Right.
So I was like seeing how his behaviors had changed, and I was monitoring everything, and then essentially he waited until I fractured my foot, and 12 hours later, that's when he hacked my CashApp because he was trying to induce the highest amount of trauma and stress in me, which is exactly how he described potentially causing a TBI in his ex, who I apparently reminded him so much of.
What does TBI stand for?
Traumatic brain injury, which can be induced in people with severe trauma based on causing more trauma and stress. And at the time, I was not doing great mentally.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Holy shnikes. Yeah, that is, we're going to move on from that. That is definitely, that is dark. Let's see.
Welcome to my
life. You can feel free to skip this question if you want to. It says, what's your bra size? How do you manage? Can I get some tips? Because even I'm plus size. I don't know what that's insinuating, but if you want to skip this question,
I'm probably just saying that they wish they had a bigger chest for their body type. I mean, I'm a triple D, and I don't know. My body grew this way. Listen, I want more of an ass. So if you want to trade ass for tits,
I got you.
There you go.
Oh man. All righty. Next question. What would be your dream collaboration?
Brand or person?
Either. Well, let's do one of one. Let's do one brand, one person.
So one person, honestly, I think it'd be Kelly Belly, Ohio. I love her.
Oh, okay.
So much.
Yeah, I follow her.
I don't want to fucking clap. I want to meet her. I want to have lunch with her. And I want to tell her how sweet and amazing I think she is.
Dope.
I love her. Do you know who Kelly Belly, Ohio is?
Yeah, I follow her. Yeah.
Yeah, I love her. She knows someone that I know. I kind of, or I used to hang out with her, whatever. And we're Facebook friends, but we're not friends. But
right.
I adore her. I think she's one of the sweetest people. She's helped me so much in coming to understand and love and express my polyamory, because she's polyamorous. SSBBW, who she's the person that really helped me prep and plan when I flew here. I was so scared, and she has this awesome tutorial on how SSBBWs can fly with Southwest and get the second seat for free. And she broke down the different plane types, where to seat on your ticket, which one's better if you have this one, what to know, what to plan for. She resolved my travel anxiety by putting all that work in. I think it's an Instagram pilot she has or something.
Awesome.
And she shares her life and the relationship with her boyfriends and the people she's with, and she's just got such a cool life story, and I adore her. I absolutely fucking adore her. So for person, absolutely her.
Kelly Belly, Ohio. Shout out to you, girl. Shout out to Kelly Belly, Ohio.
Incredible. And if you don't follow her, which she's got way more followers than I do, so don't follow her, you're missing out.
Right.
But if you do, you know what I'm talking about. She's amazing.
Yeah.
So
great energy.
Brand? Well, I was in the midst of potentially working with my favorite clothing company, but they've kind of been ghosting me lately. So I'm not gonna like say names on that front, but
yeah, not until they pay you.
That was honestly kind of a dream collab. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying, not until they pay you. No shout outs until they pay you.
Right now, shameless self promo. I am currently collaborating with Adam and Eve. Code FATROSE gets 50% off and free discreet shipping.
Go ahead. I'll put that link in the description. Go ahead, girl. Get that hustle. I ain't mad at you.
No, but beyond sex toys, I would say something either like, actually, crystal related, or I don't have an exact brand or person or anything like that. Something like crystal related, something witchy like that, or I'm really stumped. This is something I should like journal about and try to manifest.
Go ahead.
Good question. Yeah, like clothing or makeup, I would say.
Okay.
I would love to collaborate with like a small business, like someone with like a really quality products. Like I'm really open to a lot of things. I would love to something like that, or some kind of like cute little snack moment, like something food related.
Right.
Like I'm really I don't have a specific answer for a brand right now.
I got you.
And maybe that's a good thing. Keep it ambiguous. Get people to reach out.
Yeah.
There's this emails in my link tree on my Instagram.
Go ahead. So all this will be in the description in the YouTube channel. So if you want to collaborate with her, reach out. So let's see. I'm gonna ask you maybe. Let me see how we are on time. Oh wow, we just hit the okay. So we'll do one more question before we get out of here. I'm definitely gonna have you on for a second interview. This was a very awesome interview.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Are you kidding?
So let's see.
Hey, if you want to like co-host a podcast, let's talk.
For sure.
Like, I want a podcast really
for
badly.
sure. Absolutely. Like I said, we've definitely got to talk about the other stuff we talk about as far as me giving you resources for that. So yeah, I'll tell you, we'll talk about podcasts and all that.
For sure.
100%. Yeah, dude. I'm guessing your fans know intimately what's going on in your life, because they have some very specific questions that I don't.
I also had some like really close friends that asked some good questions, and you can ask a couple questions if we got time. I got all day.
Let's see.
I'm also a talker. Sorry about that.
You answered some of these actually. No, and you're fine. I mean, that's what people are here for. They're not here to look at my face. They're here to hear you talk and look at you. Let's see. Yeah, you actually answered a lot of these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like any BBW models you looked up to, you just named Kelly Belly. What are you grateful for? You've already, How would your friends describe you? We've touched on a lot of those questions. So for the last question, let's say, what does a day in the life of Rosie look like?
It depends on the day.
Okay.
I'm in this current stage in my life, I've really gotten to the point of the best way I can operate is to go with the flow, is to read my body, respect my body's wishes. Not even just my body, but like my spirit, my brain, if you will. If I am depressed, it is okay to lay in bed and be sad and take your moment. Allow yourself to process what's happening, so that way it doesn't stay with you, because that's the shit that poisons you. So for me, it's like some days it's, I'm gonna like, do a little bit of cleaning and cooking, and then I'm gonna go like run and play Pokemon Go for. There's been one day I've went out and played Pokemon Go for like 10 hours. I'm addicted. It's a problem.
I gotcha. I see you post about it a lot, but now I'm finally understanding. I'm finally understanding.
I don't know what it is, man. It's I downloaded it to play with my brother, and then now I ended up surpassing him in levels, and I play way more than he does now. I don't know how that happened, but now it's like, I just started working part-time. I do health surveys in conjunction with the CDC and local state health departments. So
awesome.
If you ever get a random phone call for those things, take the time to do it. I'm gonna just PSA.
Right.
Like it helps you and your local communities gather health census data. It's totally anonymous. It takes like 20-30 minutes. Seriously, you should do them. Like, I probably would have been the person that would have hung up on them too before I took this job, but having gone through the surveys and like kind of learning about it, I was like, okay, like this makes a lot more sense. Like, and if you're busy, you know, schedule callbacks, all that, whatever.
Right.
And it's all randomly generated, so like if it just they randomly call based on like how the numbers pop up. So so I do that part-time right now, which is really a big development for me, because there was a point last year where I was convinced, and I'm still a little nervous. It's been going really well, but because of everything that was going on and how I was doing physically and mentally, there was a point where I just considered like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to work again. And so the fact that I'm maintaining a part-time job, it's been a hard adjustment. The first week was really hard, but I've been getting better at the stress management, because my stress tolerance is non-existent, and it's been worn down so heavily due to the trauma. Yeah. So there's been a point where I was seriously like considering just getting on disability and doing that, which I'm not. And and at this point, I think I'm going to try really hard. And this is not to dog anyone that does it. I think everyone needs to use those resources if they feel it's necessary. But I think for me, I have a potential of not needing those services and saving up for other people that need them. That's awesome. And I know that is there, and I know that my diagnosis qualifies, and I know that if I went and played the game and went through the hoops, I could get it. Right. And I absolutely qualify for it. But at this stage in my life and how I've healed and the things that I've been able to do, and with at my age, I really want to see if I can make more for myself than that. Right. And like I said, I really, really, really believe that there's nothing wrong if that's something that you need, that you should take. And I think people that are stigmatized against that are selfish and not very compassionate to other people's lived experiences.
100%. Dude. Wow. All very thoughtful answers. I appreciate you, man. Yeah. I really appreciate you. Oh, So with that, Miss Rosie, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. Okay. I want to say that I really appreciate you coming by the show today. We had a nice long conversation, man. The time flew by. I did not know we had been over an hour so far. I have no idea what time it is right now. So yeah, according to my clock, it's 8:41 if we're on the same time zone.
Word. So okay, yeah, we're on the same time zone.
Yeah. So geez, no idea where the time went. So I'm going to get on off of here. Thank you so much for being an awesome guest and coming by. And yeah, I'll post this on pretty soon, and we'll see how it does. Hopefully no crazy people.
Thank you so much for the invite. I had a really great time. Thank you.
No problem. Got to have you again, man. So with that, I am signing off. I am Anonymous. She is Rosie, and we will catch you next time. Peace. Okay, so I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. I'm probably going to post this in the next couple of like days or so. I want to try to get it in before Monday across this like platforms, and then I'm going to post a YouTube video. So whenever I do that, I will post a link. I try to post like a clip on Instagram and Twitter just to point people in the right direction. So I'll try to tag you in it. And once again, thanks. And do you have any questions for me? Anything you want me to edit out or change or anything?
No, I don't think I said any names of anything that it needs to be edited out. Okay. The resources stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot those over, and I'm gonna send you the links to the places. Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm serious. If you ever wanted to so I was friends with this person that I'm no longer friends with, and I haven't really explored it since. But like, I really want a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whether or not is this something you ever want to explore with me, or like if you don't want to do that and you want to, like, maybe you can just answer questions for me when I'm ready to explore that, whatever. You're really awesome. I genuinely really like your style of how you podcast. You have a great voice. I'm not just kissing your ass. No, I'm serious. I was like, when I was asked, I was like, oh, this is really exciting. But like, I saw the title of your first podcast. So I went, oh my God, I really hope this isn't bad. When I listened, I was like, okay, good. Right. Because Joe Rogan is fucking trash. Right. So I was like, okay, let's find out how this is going to go. And so I was like, okay. Because I was like, last thing I would want to do is like go on a podcast with something I don't align with morally. Right. So when I was listening and I heard how you asked questions, and I really liked that woman that you did the co-hosting with initially. Like, she's really cool. Yeah. All of that. So yeah, like, like I'm not kidding at all about that. That's something I would be very interested in. And I think someone like you, or literally you, would be a great like counterbalance for someone like me.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm always down, man. I'm always down to work and do stuff.
Absolutely. So yeah, and like I said, I really, really appreciate the invite. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. You're awesome, and I love the energy, so I had to get you on.
Thank you. I'm so excited. So